Hello, everybody. It's been a long time since I've dropped a podcast. And I was motivated to do it because of something that happened in our neighborhood last night. There were cars driving around and calling and messages going around all on social media for a very, very special prayer gathering. Everyone was obligated to come. It was a very a critical emergency prayer meeting. It was literally billed as an emergency prayer meeting, and you can imagine what it might have been for. We're in the middle of a war. It's been 4.5 months. We've been fighting against the bloodthirsty enemy, and Rahman al-Islam, we've been losing soldiers, and it's a terrible tragedy. And it must have been for the soldiers that we should pray for their well-being and success. Wait, no, it wasn't. Sorry, beg your pardon. It wasn't for the soldiers. It must have been for the hostages. The hostages who have been hundreds of innocent civilians who were captured by the Hamas terrorists and have been spirited away somewhere into a tunnel or somewhere horrible in Gaza, who are not getting care, who are not getting visits from the International Red Cross, who are not getting any kind of attention, and we were desperate to hear good news from them. The prayer gathering must have been for the hostages who are still being held to this day, that Hashem should have rachamim on them, release them, and bring them home to their families. Wait, no, beg your pardon. It wasn't for the hostages. It was, oh my goodness, much, much more important than that. Much more important than either of those two things. It was a prayer gathering so that a certain candidate should win the mayoral election on Tuesday. I kid you not. This is the most important issue in the city. And in 4.5 months of a war against Hamas, this particular community does not have prayers for soldiers, God forbid, not for the hostages, not for anything. But when it comes to a political thing that their candidate might, they need to drum up support for their candidate and get people to vote for him on the day of the elections. Well, that is when you get out the loudspeakers, bang on the drums, and get everyone into shul so that they should pray for his success against his opponents. Now, let me have a full disclosure over here. I have nothing against this particular candidate personally. In fact, I have a fairly high opinion of him. I think he's a decent guy, and I think if he's elected, I think we could do worse. I'm personally not voting for him. My personal preference is for a different candidate, and I'm not even going to get into the political stuff because that's just really a sidetrack. I think everyone should vote for the candidate that they think will be best for the city. Okay. That said, this prayer gathering is something that really, really upsets me. Just the concept of it, the fact that you can actually call a religious gathering and tell people that they have a religious obligation to come and pray for a particular candidate is just sick. Sick. I'm sorry. Where were you for 4.5 months when our soldiers have been dropping? And they have been going into Gaza and fighting for your life so that you can sit in yeshiva and you can learn in kollel and you can walk the streets of Israel in peace, and you don't give a damn about the soldiers who are giving their lives for you. I'm sorry. Have you lost all conception of morality, of priorities, I don't know. I actually stagger. I'm staggered. I can't get the words out of my mouth to say how sick this whole perspective is. Right? Okay. Now, if you want to endorse your own political candidate, I don't care. That's fine. Get up and make a thing and say, yes, we believe that somebody is this certain person is the candidate who we think is best for Beit Shemesh. That is your right to do. You can do whatever you want. I'm absolutely for your right to freedom of expression. But you're billing this as an emergency meeting when for 4.5 months you had nothing to say. You wouldn't even make a prayer for the soldiers. Right? So what are you actually saying is that the alternative candidates are worse than Hamas. You think that they're worse than Hamas, that it's more important to get together and pray that this candidate should win over the other two candidates, and you think that if he doesn't win, it's an outcome worse than if Hamas, chas v'shalom, had to beat our soldiers. That's your set of priorities? My gosh, you've lost the plot. And what kind of motzi shemra is this against the other candidates? You really think they're so bad that you've got to have a prayer meeting that your candidate should win because God forbid anyone else should win? You're absolutely mad. Now, I'm sorry, I don't get worked up about a lot of things. And it's like, I know this is controversial stuff because these are prominent figures in our community who are getting up and talking like this. But some things I cannot keep quiet about. I mean, Yiddishkeit is the core of my life. I have built my life on Judaism. I built my life on Torah. I've made so many changes in my life. I didn't grow up from. Okay, I chose Torah. I chose to be part of a nation and a part of a tradition that is a beautiful tradition that is centered on peace, that's centered on love, that's centered on just caring for everyone else and like not backbiting, not speaking badly about other people, even when it's true. And when you're making stuff up, it's called motzi shemra. It's like it's just appalling. So when I see the people who purport to be the representatives of Torah Judaism in the world, these so-called rabbis getting up and saying motzi shemra about people because they've got political interest in it, it makes me feel sick to my stomach. This is not Torah. This is what they call kardom lachporbo. When you use the Torah to achieve mundane ends, that's called turning the Torah into a tool that you dig with. It's a disgrace. I don't know. I don't care how much Torah you've learned, how much halacha you know, how respected you are in the community. We have a statement that a well-known chazal, that Talmidei Chachamim marbim shalom ba'olam. Okay, Talmidei Chachamim increase peace in the world. What's the corollary of that? That if you're not increasing peace, you're not a Talmid Chacham. If you're increasing machlokes and hatred and division, you're not a Talmid Chacham. You're just somebody who knows a lot of facts, who knows a lot of halachas, but you're not somebody to learn from. Now, all you are is a political hack. A political hack who's taken Torah and turned it around to suit your political ends. You're not charedim lidvar Hashem. Charedim lidvar Hashem are people who are looking for what Hashem wants. You're just political hacks who don't even care about Am Yisrael. All you care about is Anshe Shlom Meinu, that horrible term, Anash, where you only look at the people you only care for the people who look and think like you. And anyone who's not like you, they're bad, they're evil. And the worst thing is that you're so convinced that you're the good guys. You're convinced that everything that you're doing is l'shem shemayim. You have no way to do teshuvah because you'll never believe that you're doing anything wrong. When you're inciting Jews against other Jews, when you're speaking motzi shemra and saying it's a mitzvah to do so, you've really lost the plot. But the fact is that you, the leaders, you have no chance of doing teshuvah because you still think you're so convinced that you're doing the right thing. So I'm not even talking to you now. I'm talking to the people who follow you. Because somewhere out there are people who go to your shuls, who listen to your shiurim, who hang on your every psak. But somewhere among them are people who actually have some sort of inner voice, some sort of self-awareness that tells them that this is not the derech of Torah. Right? I'm talking to you. Open your eyes and judge for yourself. Are the people that you're learning from, are they people who actually represent the values of Torah, or are they Doeg HaEdomi? You know the story of Doeg HaEdomi. He was the head of the Sanhedrin. He was brilliant. He knew Torah. He knew halacha. And yet, He's remembered in Masechet Sanhedrin as one of the people who has no chelik in Olam Haba. Why? He incited division. He spoke Lashon Hara against David HaMelech. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're absolutely right that you should be speaking Lashon Hara, that all these people are so evil. But honestly, if you're going to make a mistake, do you want to make the mistake of maybe saying Lashon Hara against somebody who doesn't deserve Lashon Hara against them, or would you rather make the mistake of not saying Lashon Hara against somebody who does deserve Lashon Hara against them? It's an easy calculation, and you know that in your heart, the Torah is described as Darchei Noam. It's the ways of pleasantness, and all its paths of peace. If somebody is leading you on a path that is not nice, that is not pleasant, that is causing machlokes, causing division, causing people to hate Torah, causing people to hate Jews, to hate Torah Jews, if that's who you're looking up to, then you're learning from the wrong people. And yet, you don't need to learn from people like that. You don't need to compromise your halacha. You don't need to compromise your Yiddishkeit in order to learn from people who claim to be the gatekeepers of true Judaism. There are Torah leaders out there who do preach love, who do talk about shalom between other Jews, who love everyone, no matter what color they are, no matter what they wear, no matter what their views, just loving other Jews. Is this not like a self-evident thing? There are people out there, there are rabbis who do preach that worldview, and who are still utterly uncompromising on halacha, and who still love Torah and love halacha and are Talmidei Chachamim in the truest sense of the word. And they're in your neighborhood. Seek out the people who are teaching Torah that is a Torah chesed, that's a Torah of love, and Darchei Noam. So that's my rant. I'm sorry. I get very worked up about this because it's a personal thing to me, as you have gathered. I feel very strongly about my Yiddishkeit. I feel very strongly about my Torah, and it breaks my heart and it makes me angry and upset to see people who destroy the name of Torah, who destroy the name of Yiddishkeit, and who making a chilul Hashem. This is the definition of a chilul Hashem, is when people look at somebody and say, whoa, if this is what Torah is, I don't want my child to learn Torah. That's the chilul Hashem. And when people get up and behave like this and treat their political adversaries as evil enemies who must be destroyed and we must pray for their downfall, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. I'm sorry. I can't keep quiet about it. If we just sit back and let it happen and say, oh, this is normal, then that does become the normal. And unfortunately, we've let it become the normal in many parts of our society. It's not normal. We should not accept it. We need to be people who are strong in our love of Torah's chesed, we're not just like, oh, that's a problem, by the way, of being moderate, is that moderation can come across often as a sort of an ambivalence. It's like, yeah, it's okay. No, it's we don't feel that strongly about it. No, that's not what moderation is. I feel very passionate about being moderate. I'm in the extreme middle. Okay? I'm in the extreme middle. I don't like extremism. I hate extremism. Because extremism drives people away from Torah and creates an unbalanced personality. We need to bring ourselves back to the middle and understand that other people are going to disagree with us, and it's okay. It doesn't make them evil. That other people are just other people, and we can love each other even though we have differences. In conclusion, I want to give a bracha to everyone. First of all, to our brave soldiers, who are the biggest tzaddikim in the world right now. They are literally putting their lives on the line for us, and Hashem should bless them and protect them and give them success and a swift victory over our enemies. I bless the hostages. Hashem should have mercy on them and release them from their captivity. And I bless all of Klal Yisrael, that we should have peace between us, that the elections will come and go, and candidates will be elected and candidates will lose, and it doesn't matter. Whoever wins, let us be gracious in accepting whoever is the winner, and let us accept the people who voted for them, and accept the people who didn't vote for them, and just move together forwards, because ultimately we are all on the same side. We don't want more division. We want more togetherness. We want to be Am Yisrael together, Am Echad, B'Lev Echad. And I wish you all bracha and shalom.